and thanks for joining me. My name is David Hatch, and I'm the founder and creator of Leading with Integrity, the leadership framework for modern managers. In today's video, I'm talking about job satisfaction and what we can do to improve it as leaders in our companies. Hello and welcome back. Job satisfaction is a key element that all employers, leaders and managers should be keenly aware of. Monitoring the interdependent factors of employee happiness, satisfaction and engagement, and being generally more aware of how content your team members are in their roles, is an important part of your job as a leader. And it will also help you to identify any potential issues and take steps to improve them when needed. Some managers no doubt see this as not really relevant to their job, but taking the stance that your people's views of their jobs and their workplace and the company they work for are not important can really limit the performance of your team or company and reflect badly upon you as a leader. It's just limiting. Why? Because happy, fulfilled personnel who are content with their roles and engaged with their employer are likely to perform better, work harder, and be vocal advocates for your business and its culture, all of which are results that you need and should want as a leader. There's a few statistics I'd like to quote from recent studies that underline this point quite well. An early 2020 study by the Institute of Leadership and Management, so pre-COVID, found that less than 25% of participants were very satisfied with their job. According to other studies, around 3/4 of respondents were generally satisfied or very satisfied. And perhaps unsurprisingly, these figures have reduced slightly over the last year to 18 months, given what's been going on in the world. And in that context, it's actually impressive that they've only fallen by about 10%. There are 3 warning signs, that we should be paying attention to, in my opinion, from all of these various studies I've looked at. First, whilst 39% of workers said their mental health had improved since they started working from home during COVID, at the other end of that, nearly 22% said that theirs had got worse or much worse. So I think there's a bit of a red flag here that mental health continues to be a big aspect of what we as leaders and managers need to be providing support for in the workplace or in the remote workplace. Secondly, more than half of the respondents in one of these surveys stated that they would consider leaving their job if their employer didn't offer flexible working post-pandemic. And thirdly, another survey conducted in March this year showed that nearly half of the participants agreed that working in a green job, or one that would help the environment or help prevent climate change, would give them far greater job satisfaction compared to their current role. So there's 3 big things to be watching there, and it does give us some quite clear indicators for where people's priorities lie in the modern workforce. So do keep an eye on these and be sure that your organisation is taking steps to respond to them adequately. And as we continue moving further into this new decade, the 2020s, a greater percentage of the workforce now consists of a new generation of people who appear to have quite different priorities at work and in life than many managers seem to be aware of compared to previous generations. Gone are the days when salary and company car were all employees wanted out of a job. And don't get me wrong, paying the bills is of course still important to a lot of people, and it probably always will be. But now they're also looking for something more meaningful, fulfilling and more flexible in their job, and for a company where there's a positive culture and a general ethical approach to leadership. As we've just seen from the data, climate change is now an important part of that ethical dimension. So in that contemporary setting, it seems like a good time to consider what matters most for job satisfaction. From the various studies, there are some recurring themes that emerge when respondents are asked about the reasons why they are or aren't satisfied at work. Reasons for high reported job satisfaction included getting on well with their colleagues, and that was in the top spot in a number of different surveys. Flexible working hours has moved much higher in the list over the last year. Positive culture makes an appearance too, but it does tend to be quite lower down the list. Although I must say, I do think the point about interactions with colleagues, which is in the top spot now, that does speak to the importance of culture as well, because a lot of culture, as we saw a few weeks ago, is to do with those interactions in the workplace. And several of the other factors that frequently appear in the top 10 also have clear implications for organisational culture, including a good work-life balance, that's climbing up the list again as well, feeling trusted with extra responsibility, feeling valued and recognised for your work, and feeling a sense of connection to the purpose of the organisation you work for. Meanwhile, the reasons people cited for feeling dissatisfied have not really changed that much. The top answer is usually some variation on not being recognised for your work or your efforts, not feeling valued by managers, and as many as 40% of workers, depending on the study you looked at, said that a general lack of support from their manager and their co-workers was causing distinct levels of unhappiness for them at work. Other issues include not having opportunities for growth and development or access to training. And overall, these softer skill areas of leadership have seen something of an explosion in terms of their importance, both from an individual team member's perspective of who's managing them, but also as the vital skills for a modern leader or manager. And they are going to keep growing in importance to the workforce of the 2020s. So those in leadership positions should really be taking heed of this growing trend and start thinking about how to reflect this in your own organisations if you haven't already. I'm sure many of you have. There's a lot to learn from studies like these, and I do encourage all of you to take the time and keep up to date with the trends in your field, in this case in leadership and management. And let's finish today with my top 5 things that you can start working on today that will help you improve job satisfaction within your team. 1. Take employee satisfaction, happiness and engagement seriously, and do what it takes to ensure that your people are happy at work, fulfilled in their roles, and are actively engaging with your organisation. 2. By now, you've already heard me bang on about how important listening is for a leader and how it should be your primary means of communication. When it comes to improving job satisfaction and so on, listening can take the form of a regular feedback program, so surveys, interviews, anonymous methods and so on. Find one that works best for your company and your team and then keep it going on a regular basis. Studies have shown that employees who feel they're given that regular opportunity to give feedback on the company are far more engaged and happy in their jobs. 3. Don't just listen to feedback, do something about it as well. Companies that are able to adequately act on their employee feedback have upwards of 80% engagement rates, and this is only going to be beneficial for you. 4. Recognise good work, preferably in front of the whole organisation, and reward it where you can. 5. Make sure you have support and welfare mechanisms available to support anyone who might be suffering from health, mental health, or stress-related challenges at work, or outside of work, in fact. Also consider other forms of welfare or lifestyle support you might be able to offer, such as financial coaching or access to fitness schemes, etc. And that's really it for today. Drop me a comment and let me know of any other data or surveys or similar studies that you've seen on this topic, because it is a really interesting one to dive into. Please also show your support for the channel by hitting the like button. And you can subscribe to the channel and press the notification button so you'll find out first when I post the next video. Next week we'll be starting a new series about leaders in popular culture. And I'm really looking forward to that one, so I hope you'll be joining me again. If you want to learn more about the leadership training, coaching and mentoring programs I provide, then you can join our mailing list by visiting the website in the description below. I really recommend joining this mailing list as you'll get access to extra content, articles about leadership and management, links to my exclusive programs and any special offers that I run every few months. So do sign up today. Thanks for watching. I'll hopefully speak to you again soon, and be a leader, not a boss.